So this is where you guys kind of sign your life away, is on this page 3. So house name, manager email, phone number for the summer. Because we might be buying you QuickBooks, I need to know what your OS is on your laptop or personal computer if you have one. We would like you to check off that you know where your bank statements go. I prefer that you receive them electronically so that we can save paper. One thing I didn't tell you guys in my intro is that I'm also the project management manager for Target Zero Waste on the row. So I was the one who personally financed all the compost bins that are out in your kitchens back in the day, and I brought that whole program to you. I'm very big on recycling and compost because I've worked in these kitchens, even as a chef and as a dishwasher back in the day. I know exactly how much we throw out, and it's enormous. And we'll talk about that more in the fall. But anyway, so again, PDF statements are just fine. I prefer that to save paper. I acknowledge that the current FM has collected the 0910 resident permanent addresses and will attach them to the master budget. So KA, we just discovered one. We're going to want to make sure that happens. You acknowledge that you've been added to the main checking account and that Zach Sargent's on there. If you add a second staff member name for dual signature checking, which most of you should have, please put that name down there as well. And this is in the documentation, but I didn't say this explicitly, I should say it. We do want, obviously, the current CAMs and FMs to stay on the checking account. You'll drop them next fall. And last but not least, our plan for the transfer of checkbooks and backup material from the former FM to the 1011 FML staff is as follows. Please underline that one. That's the one I really care about. I want to know where you're going to put that stuff, because the worst thing that can happen is you show up on September 5th, you're not on the checking account, and you don't even know where the checks are. Okay, if you want to store the checks with me, you're welcome to. You can just drop them off with Sergio or drop them off in my office, room 212, on June 14th, which is technically year end this year. And ta-da, when you show up on September 5th, I'll hand them to you. Okay? And then the outgoing FM contact info, when you do grab their email, make sure you don't grab the stanford.edu version, because that will go defunct sooner than later, and we'd like to find out what their Gmail or their Yahoo or whatever it is. Okay? Any questions? I know I covered a lot. Okay. Co-op FMs, you are free to go. Thank you so much. How many of you guys have worked in the restaurant industry? Doing what?
Food running.
Food running. Carly? Dishwashing. Anybody else? Dishwasher? Okay. You had to work Friday nights, right? You had to work Saturday nights. You had to work all nights. You had to work, if your restaurant was good, you were working New Year's, Thanksgiving, etc., etc. Okay? Why do I bring this up? Anybody? They don't have to. The jobs that we have here at the student management program are among the most coveted on campus for cooks. We pay better than the union. They start out with 1 week spring break, 1 week winter break, 2 days Thanksgiving, 2 days sick pay per quarter, 1 personal day per year. So they work 34 weeks, let's say, next year. And they start the job with, was that 3.8 weeks of or 2.8 weeks of vacation. By year 5, they make 5 weeks of vacation because of the 3-week winter break grows every year, and Thanksgiving week grows every year. They also don't work Saturdays, they don't work Thanksgiving, they don't work Christmas, they don't work New Year's, they get a spring break, they get summer off, and because they're seasonal employees, they get unemployment, seasonal leave, okay? It is a great job. What's bad about it? Anybody? They have to deal with 24-hour disruptions, and
Budget?
What's that?
They have a restricted budget?
Not really. We're actually kinder than the restaurant industry, I would argue on that. Anybody? Has anybody ever collected unemployment? Hint. It ain't much. So it's only 34 to 37 weeks out of the year. So we pay very well for 8.5, 9 months, and then for 3 months they're on their own, and they make a piddling through EDD, but they do make a little. So long story short, we pay very well to keep people that are good, and we pay well enough that you guys should feel empowered to kick out people that are bad. Make sense? Okay. So our employment agreements here with these people are employment at will. Carly and Charlie have heard this before, others have heard it. Anybody else that's new, tell me what employment at will means. Okay. I don't like your tennis shoes, you're fired. That's legal. Okay. I don't have to give a reason, I can just say I'm letting you go. That's what employment at will means. So we can enact employment at will next year, and we can even enact it this year at any time when the employees aren't doing their job. Because we're going to enter into this new phase, it's 95% certain, where we're going to have distributed payroll and hashers at every house. The expectations are going to be pretty standardized. Each of you is going to be guaranteed 10 hot meals a week and 40 hours of hashing. However you want to use that hashing is fine with us. For instance, SAE runs their hasher from 9 to 12 and 1 to 6, and then the students do the hashing after that, fine. You can use the 40 hours however you want. For most houses, it means that your students won't have to do any hashing, except for we will ask all houses to at least have a Sunday hash next year. Okay? Because we don't want your students to completely lose connection to the kitchen. It's already tough enough for those of us that work for Res Ed or contractors like myself to be treated as if we're custodians or servants, as it is. And part of the great thing about what you guys are doing is that you're volunteering basically, hopefully, to pick up a mop every once in a while and actually look after your facility and take pride in it. So anyway, long story short, these are great jobs, they're coveted. If you are on the fence about your employee, come talk to me, okay? And I will be upfront about my personal biases. I am friends with Sandy Colson of Jerry House. I am friends with Helga Turnsten at Kappa Sig. I've worked with them for 19 years. I was friends with Sandy before I even started this job. Okay? So if you have problems with how I handle my interactions with Sandy at Jerry House, go talk to Zach. But I'm always upfront about what my personal biases are. And for the 4 or 5 chefs that I'm on the fence about, when you come sign your letters of intent, as I said, I'll talk to you about it, and I'll talk to you frankly and honestly with your current staff as well. Did that door get opened or something? Thank you, sir. Okay. So what we'd like you to do this spring, because we're only going to do a letter of intent, so we'd like you to talk to the 09-010 staff about whether you want to make offers to existing employees. We do have some chefs and dishwashers that would like to split their teams. We especially have chefs that would like to get different dishwashers. And that's fine. I am working on a list of that. I have some personal notes and stuff like that, and I'll work with you. If you hear anything about it, obviously let me know. If you're not going to be rehiring your employees, inform them in a professional manner when you feel appropriate. What I suggest you do is don't worry about it. Come talk to me and I'll assist you. Okay, because you don't know them at all. And for most of these guys have been working for us for years. And I have a great personal relationship with almost all of them. And in general, I think you'll find that they're pretty solid, which is great.